spinning round thing. There we go. We're live, and I am going to hit the...
As one of the lesser known, but nonetheless vital precious metals, platinum has a long history of being used for jewelry and ornamentation, reaching back to the ancient Egyptian Empire, having been discovered on a coffin unearthed in Thebes, estimated to be from the 7th century BC.
Now that is...
Platinum is a metal that represents...
I gotta stop it right there. Okay, 7th century BC's, they've got it in an Egyptian tomb. How could they have forged it, that thing, and where did it come from? That is what gets me, because that's like that's like 5, 6, 7, 800 years before the quote-unquote discovery of platinum by the quote-unquote West, and they had already been making it into jewelry. It's radically cool.
Its power, prestige, and a sense of great accomplishment. It has come to symbolize a high level of status in society, as evidenced by top-tier credit cards and membership programs using its name. But platinum is so much more than just a status symbol. Modern-day uses of platinum include being a key element in catalytic converters for vehicles, as it converts car exhaust gases into less harmful substances, as a catalyst in the chemical industry, and even in the creation of life-saving anti-cancer drugs. But that's just scratching the surface. On today's episode, we explore this exclusive metal that befuddled miners and scientists alike when it was first discovered. Dubbed platina, or little silver by the Spanish conquistadors, the truth is, it's so much more than meets the eye. Time to dig into platinum on Commodity Culture.
Target Circle Week is here, folks. Get ready for 7 days of big deals. 40% off.
Oh, he is cleaning up the savings.
Sorry, guys.
This channel had a great video on
Platinum is a gray white precious metal,
Hold on a second, let me
and
pause
one of a
this
group
thing.
of 6 elements known as the...
What was that?
I was just going to say this channel also had an excellent video on osmium as well.
Yes, and they also have one on palladium. I've got all of them saved. The most recent one on osmium was just turned out by Arc Silver, actually, on his newsletter.
Very cool.
That is actually a cool picture right there. But I'm going to continue. You have anything else you want to add to it?
That was it. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, dude, it's not interrupting, man. I don't play that game.
Okay.
The platinum group metals. The other metals in the group are iridium, osmium, palladium, rhodium, and ruthenium. Platinum is the most common of the group and sees the most use. Platinum's atomic number is 78. It has an atomic mass of 195 units, a melting point of 1,768 degrees Celsius, and is resistant to corrosion, stable at high temperatures, and has stable electrical properties. The name platinum comes from the Spanish word platina, basically translating to little silver. This somewhat derogatory word was coined by Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century, as they had no idea of platinum's uses or true value, and considered it an annoyance that interfered with their attempts to mine gold. In those times, it was widely believed that platina was young gold, and that given time, it would turn yellow as it matured, but until then, better to toss it aside and get back to mining for the real thing. Platinum is rarely found on its own.
Okay,
it is often deposited alongside gold.
Stop that. He just said the conquistadors. That gives you a date of around the 15th century, 16th century, Central America. He just said they were mining for the gold and silver, probably where the Incas were getting their shit, because by then they had already taken off from Incas and gotten to their source. And then they said they were mining. So it sounds like there's a placer mine of platinum down in Central America somewhere where the conquistadors were mining for gold and silver because they came across the platinum and threw it to the side. I've been saying that for over 3 years now. There is a placer mine of platinum. Now, the placer mine we have in America, in Montana, produces like 114,000 ounces of platinum a year, which is decent. Placer mining is surface mining. It's a cheaper type of mining. It doesn't cost you hardly as much to get it. So when you pull in 100,000 ounces, that's about 80% profit margin on all those ounces. But anyhow, let's get back to the show.
Copper, iron, nickel, and of course, the other platinum group metals. When discovered, platinum can be quite inconspicuous at first glance, with nuggets having a dull gray or black hue. One thing that can help identify it is its incredible heft when held, and if iron is also present in the alloy, it will be slightly magnetic. Some of the first known platinum jewelry.
Now that's totally different from when you're checking like your gold and your silver coins. I just saw a program yesterday where they were doing the gold and silver coin check, where they slid it down at a 45-degree thing.
Yep.
And if it was like too much of the heavy metals, the lead, platinum, palladium, rhodium, iridium, osmium, they're the heavier metals. They will stick, and that's what he just said. If you find it in rock form. So when you're out gold mining or gold detecting, metal detecting, or looking for silver, do take a magnet, because if you're looking for silver, you might actually come across platinum ore in a rock, and that's how you will detect that mineral. So you might actually, there might be people overlooking platinum right now because they're of that fact of, oh, it's magnetic, it's not gold, and they throw it aside. Well, it might be platinum, you know.
Right, and the platinum itself is not magnetic, but the iron that you may find with it is what would attract the magnet.
Yeah, exactly, because like in outer space, asteroids, when they congeal and they start with the heavier elements. Iron and your platinum group metals are the highest ones. So iron is often found around platinum if it's from a space source and new to the planet, which would put it at the top surface area or a placer type mining. So yeah, it would definitely have iron around it. Anyhow, sorry.
59.
What was that?
Saying hi to Finn59 and Gerald and everyone else that's in the
Oh,
chat.
what's up? Hey, Tom and Finn.
Tom.
Get this going again.
Crafted by the ancient indigenous peoples of Ecuador, with estimates placing their
they even told
culture
us it's
several
Ecuador.
centuries before the Spanish conquest of South America.
There's a
in
placer
1492.
mine somewhere in
It
Ecuador.
was particularly in the province of Esmeraldas where some of the most striking pieces were found, leading anthropologist William Farabee to declare, "The native Indian workers of Esmeraldas were metallurgists of marked ability. They were the only people who manufactured platinum jewelry." Considering
that's
platinum is
interesting.
far more difficult to forge and manipulate than, say, gold or silver, the method these ancient peoples used to work such a problematic metal was nothing short of incredible and a testament to their dedication to their craft. Platinum fragments were coated with gold dust, then heated by blowpipe on pieces of wood charcoal. The molten gold then caused the platinum to sinter, meaning coalesce into a porous mass through heating, which then allowed it to be forged. Being the rarest of all the precious metals,
That is
along with
freaking
its incredible
interesting.
strength as the hardest among them, has led platinum to being one of the preferred forms of jewelry throughout the ages. In addition, it is highly resistant to scratches and other blemishes and does not wear away easily. Platinum, along with the other platinum group metals, has strong catalytic properties, meaning it can accelerate or trigger a chemical process without becoming permanently changed or consumed. For this reason, it is employed widely in the manufacturing of catalytic converters for use in exhaust systems in internal
I hate
combustion
that he's
vehicles.
telling that lie. It's palladium.
Platinum present in exhaust systems helps curb vehicle pollution and contributes to enhanced air quality. Catalytic converters represent a whopping 50% of platinum demand each year. Due to its high melting point, platinum is indispensable in chemical laboratories for electrodes and for crucibles and dishes in which materials can be heated to high temperatures. In addition, platinum is used in the chemicals industry as a catalyst to produce nitric acid, benzene, and silicone. It is also used
iodine.
as a catalyst to improve the efficiency of fuel cells and for electrical.
Let me throw that in. He didn't throw that in because I know about this stuff. Platinum screening is used on a chemical called Vidine, and Vidine is run through platinum screening, changing its elemental form, allowing it to be aerosoled. And 3M glue uses that process to make spray glue. So because of platinum, we actually have spray glue, and that's through Vidine, which this guy didn't mention.
Contacts and sparking points. as it resists both the high temperatures and chemical attack of electric arcs. Platinum finds
Oh
use in
wow,
the
Finn.
electronics sector in the manufacturing of computer hard disks and thermocouples, is used to make optical fibers and LCD screens, turbine blades, spark plugs, pacemakers, and like other precious metals, is used widely in dentistry. Crowns, bridges, pins, and other dental equipment, as well as fillings, all employ platinum as a key component. But one of its most impactful uses to humanity is in the creation of chemotherapy drugs used to treat cancer, of which platinum compounds are an important building block. I'm willing to bet you didn't think platinum was such an essential element to our day-to-day lives, but the truth is, it's a metal that is as practical as it is prestigious. Next up, let's explore the mining methods used to extract platinum
What's up,
from the
Chad?
earth.
Wolfenschlettenheinershausen. I fucked that up. Wolfschlettensteinerhausen-Bergerdorf.
Chad Wolf.
Being one of the rarest
Wolf,
metals
yeah.
on Earth, platinum is almost
I
never
love saying
found
his
on
whole
its
name.
own, but is generally found alongside platinum group metals, nickel, iron, gold, and other metals. Although pure platinum deposits have been discovered,
You
they
go,
are the
boy.
exception rather than the rule. One of the earliest platinum mining methods is placer mining.
Placer.
Like gold, platinum particles can accumulate in alluvial sands in rivers and streams.
It's important to know
Placer
the definition
deposits
of what the
are
alluvial
concentrated sand and gravel beds in streams and rivers created when old rock is eroded from its source and further ground into pieces as it is washed away by the water. Most of the world's placer platinum is found in Russia, and back in the 19th century, alluvial deposits located in the Ural Mountains were heavily mined by both small-scale family operations and more official mining operations. Placer mining for platinum was also common in South America, especially in the Rio de la Plata, or the River of Silver, located between Argentina and Uruguay. Placer mining involves using dredges to scoop platinum-bearing sand or gravel from riverbeds and washing it until platinum grains or nuggets are captured and separated from the surrounding material. In today's world, the vast majority of platinum deposits are located underground, and this is mined very similarly to gold, silver, and other underground metal deposits, namely with strategically placed explosives. Miners drill holes into the mine walls and pack explosives into them before detonating the rock, blasting it into small pieces and hauling it up to the surface to be loaded onto trucks, which then take it to a facility to be processed. Most platinum mining in the modern era is done in South Africa, which accounts for a whopping 80% of world platinum production.
All right, bros, I got to say something here right now. I've done videos. JM knows about this on clean air metals. You just heard this guy, 80% of the platinum comes from South Africa. That's why they have a stranglehold because platinum is used for everything. The dynamics of that world are changing, and that 80% is going to drop to about 20%, and 60% of the world's platinum in the next 5 years will be mined in Canada at Thunder Bay Mines by Clean Air Metals. So that's going to be a dynamic shift of GDP for South Africa, and it's going to really help America out, especially with all these new technologies that are coming out that are going to have high use cases for platinum. Sorry about that.
The story of the man who first identified platinum and began to make it known to the greater world is no less fantastic than the element itself, involving an adventure across continents, a capture and daring escape on the high seas, and a scientific discovery that would begin platinum's journey to becoming the dynamic metal we know it as today.
What's up, Annie? You talk to Ron and tell him I'm blocked on his channel for some reason.
Antonio de Ulloa of Spain was only 19 years of age when he was promoted to the rank of frigate lieutenant and sent on what would be a life-altering expedition to Quito in Ecuador, led by French geographers Charles-Marie de la Condamine and Pierre Bouguer. Antonio departed Spain in May of 1735, not knowing he wouldn't see his motherland again for more than a decade. The mission was a monumental one.
Flat earthers are going to love that picture.
Determine whether the Earth was flat, as was popularly believed throughout most of human history up to that point, or whether it was a sphere, as suggested by Sir Isaac Newton.
Sir
To
Isaac
this
Newton.
end, it was necessary to measure the length of a degree of longitude at the
His cousin
equator,
is Fig.
of which Quito
Fig
was the
Newton.
closest city, and again it's somewhere as near as possible to one of the poles. An expedition to the far north of Sweden was also
You don't have
dispatched
to do
for
it
this
right now,
purpose,
Vinny.
but our story shall leave that journey to the pages of history. As Antonio accompanied the geographers in Ecuador,
Coin Shop Chris
their
did it
task proved
once,
epic
so I'm kind of
indeed,
curious if he's
and
done
with
it this
great
time as
struggle,
well.
they finally completed their work around 1745. Over the course of this decade, Antonio had plenty of time to explore the territory and the people there, recording his more interesting observations in various papers he carried with him. As the expedition finally departed back to Spain, their mission accomplished, Antonio must have been filled with strong emotions, as he was at long last headed home.
The smart people would understand, Finn.
Cancer. It's different in
Fate, however, had other plans in store for him. As they made their way, sailing around Cape Horn, they were chased down north of the Azores by an English privateer, and their ship was captured. However, they managed an escape, and as luck seemed to be on their side, they evaded their captors and seemed to leave danger behind. But God seemed intent to test their wills, and as they reached Louisburg in Nova Scotia, their vessel was once again captured, this time by a British naval vessel, and escape was out of the question. Antonio and his companions were taken to London and imprisoned,
That looks
while
like
the
fitness.
Admiralty confiscated nearly a decade's worth of notes from Antonio's time spent in Ecuador. Things looked grim for our frigate lieutenant as he sat in a cell awaiting his fate. But when God closes a door, he is known to open a window, and good fortune came in the form of the president of the Royal Society, Martin Folkes, who came to know Antonio and his story and befriended him. The Royal Society were a group of natural philosophers and physicians, and not only did Martin free Antonio from his chains, he got all his papers returned to him and even made him a fellow of the Royal Society in
It's a very interesting
1746.
story about this guy.
He was
though.
then
That's why
allowed to
I'm
return to Spain.
showing it.
Finally back after his long mission, he set to work compiling an account of his adventures, which he published in 1748, first in Spanish and then had it translated into several other languages. For the purposes of our subject today, one passage in particular stands out. In the district of Choco are many mines of lavadero, or wash gold. Several of the mines have been abandoned on account of the platina, a substance of such resistance that when struck on an anvil of steel, it is not easy to be separated, nor is it calcinable, so that the metal enclosed within this obdurate body could only be extracted with infinite labor and charge. Shortly after releasing his book,
Several
Antonio was
mines
tasked with a new mission
were
by the King of
closed
Spain
down,
himself,
he said.
King Ferdinand VI,
There's a lot of
to
platinum.
travel throughout Europe and study scientific developments across the continent. His travels brought him to Sweden in the autumn of 1751, and he was welcomed with open arms by Swedish scientists. Shortly after his arrival, he was duly elected to the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences in October of the same year. During his time there, he met with mathematician and chemist H.T. Scheffer.
Yes, everyone.
Scheffer was a former mine and metalworks manager, as well as an assayer at the Mint, and so had quite a vested interest in metals.
crystallized osmium out there. But
There is no
big
official
channel.
record of what exactly was said in that meeting, but shortly thereafter, in November of 1751, Scheffer produced a paper titled The White Gold, or Seventh Metal, called in Spain Platina del Pinto, Little Silver of Pinto, its nature described, and submitted it to the Academy. Scheffer was already familiar with platinum before encountering Antonio, as he himself had received samples of it just a year earlier in 1750 from the West Indies, but his time with Antonio undoubtedly influenced his writing. In the paper, he came to the following conclusions about platinum: that this is a metal hard but malleable, but of the hardness of malleable iron; that it is a precious metal of durability, like gold and silver; that it is not any of the 6 old metals, since first, it is wholly and entirely a precious metal containing nothing of copper, tin, lead, or iron, because it allows nothing to be taken from it. It is not silver, nor is it gold, but it is a 7th metal among those which are known up till now in all lands. In addition, he recommended a potential practical application for platinum when he wrote, "This metal is the most suitable of all to make telescope mirrors because it resists as well as gold the vapors of the air. It is very heavy, very dense, colorless, and much heavier than ordinary gold, which is rendered unsuitable for this particular use by lacking these two latter properties." Although attempts were made in the years that followed, platinum never found its place in telescopes of the era. Although Scheffer would be delighted to know, the metal did eventually find use in the construction of X-ray telescopes centuries later. Nonetheless, his paper sparked the imaginations of scientists across the world, and a flurry of research into platinum began, leading it to be established as the multifaceted metal that we know in the modern era.
Amazon hates this, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. There's a new electric
I'm
motor out
just-
there, and it's got the firepower
A long time ago, a very smart person told me, and there's actually a quote by somebody, that small minds talk about people, great minds discuss ideas. And if you really look into it, you'll find out that just talking about someone else doesn't advance society, science, ideas, or technology. It actually de-evolves you. And so that's why I don't like talking about people, and I'd rather discuss ideas and possibilities and look towards the future and expansion rather than contraction of the brain. And that's why I say that and follow that.
Although the recent trend towards electrifying vehicles seemingly puts platinum's use in traditional gasoline-powered catalytic converters at risk, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture. In the coming years, auto catalyst demand for platinum is actually likely to rise, as recent legislation to curb pollution from gasoline and diesel engines is boosting the demand for cleaner emissions, which is platinum's forte. Either way, platinum will have a role to play in a carbon-neutral future, as it is needed for hydrogen-powered fuel cell electric vehicles. These use a propulsion system similar to that of electric vehicles, where energy stored as hydrogen is converted to electricity by the fuel cell, and these vehicles are already becoming available in California and a few other places. Platinum is also playing a role in the greater energy economy, as
Okay, just from this video here, this gentleman has said that 50% of the mined platinum is going to be used in industrial industries for some sort of a catalytic conversion type thing, whether it's chemical, auto, industrial. So there's 7 million ounces mined every year. So that's 3.5 million ounces. China has already stated that they've taken 2.5 million ounces. So 2.5 million and 3.5 million equals 6 million of the 7 million that is mined. And Impala has already stated that they're 20% short of mining their normal amount this year, which takes that 7 million ounces mined down to a little less than 6 million ounces. That means this year someone's not getting their platinum, and next year platinum supply is supposed to increase, or platinum demand is supposed to increase by 15%, and platinum supply is supposed to continue to decrease for the next 2 years, which tells me that the squeeze just hit for platinum. Buy some.
Platinum-based fuel cells are a cost-effective, clean, and reliable off-grid power source that is currently seeing use in some remote areas, such as rural South Africa. These fuel cells can help provide greater energy access to communities who might not normally be able to get a steady source of electricity. This includes electricity for schools, improving the quality of education, and provides the ability to pump water for irrigation, facilitating agriculture. Its other myriad of uses also aren't going away, and for this reason, platinum will remain an essential metal to our modern civilization for as long as we can extract it from the earth.
And we will be able to extract it from the earth for quite some time, especially because Canada's got the largest platinum vein discovery in the history of platinum at Thunder Bay. And I just did a video a week or so ago. They're starting phase 2, which means they're looking at pulling 400 meters of earth out where they can get a ramp down to the mineral deposit, the start of it at about the 400 to 500 meter range. and they could be mining as early, actually pulling ore, platinum ore, out of the ground of Canada, and as early as the summer of next year.
That's really fast. That's amazing how fast that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's gonna change so damn quick because it's only 400 to 500 meters under the ground, and it's not bedrock that they got to go through. It's loose soil.
Gotcha.
It's not gonna take that long to get to that vein.
And you know what? That's how they found a lot of the silver in that area too. It was right at the surface. You know.
Yeah, and I was looking. They only pulled out two. They've only turned out 2 of the 10 drilling samples. They've got 2 kilometers long of the drilling samples to go yet, and I'm almost positive for it'll come back 2 kilometers of a platinum vein will be less than 800 meters underground before it starts to go deep, which would mean oh god, was it I don't recall the numbers that they said they believe this vein has. It's like 3,400 million ounces of platinums in this vein. It's like the largest one ever. And that's why I stopped that video and said the guy doesn't quite know everything about platinum. I give him credit. He knows a lot, but he's not totally up to speed. Because no one's talking about Thunder Bay in Canada and Clean Air Metals, and they've got the golden goose, baby.
I think they're too small to be on
anyone's radar.
Yeah, like it's
7 cent stock.
And
I challenge you to look at Impala Mines, the second largest platinum miner in South Africa. 3-4 years ago, their stock price was well into the $40. And they didn't have that. They only had the second largest amount, and they acquired them through purchases. This Clean Air Metals is going to have the largest mine, not obtained through purchases, but it's their core business. And if they actually want to buy more platinum mines, they can acquire them then. But just because of their core mine business that they have, the one platinum vein, it's going to like supersede what all the South African companies have. So you can infer that the price of that stock should go up into the 40s, and it's 7 cents right now. So I'm not telling you guys to do anything. I'm just saying, think about it. It's 7 cents right now. And it will be up into the 40s and 50s and very soon. Very, very soon. So you can make some good money. And I don't give financial advice. I just give pathways, possibilities, and sound advice. And I don't see where that would not be a great 7 cents. There's $70 at it. You have yourself 1,000 shares. If it jumps up to $40 in the next 2 years, 3 years, you have $400,000, from a $70 investment. Congratulations.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go up very much for you to make a big rate of return. But it is, you look at it and it's looks like a pretty small venture, but big money behind it.
Well, you got to look at the industry. And the industry is platinum. And right now, again, you look at Impala Mines is going bankrupt. The second largest platinum mining, and I don't know about the others because I never own their stocks. So I don't get any of their stock things they send out to stockholders, all the paperwork they send out yearly, quarterly, all this stuff. So I don't get it from everyone. I get it from Impala, and they've already reduced production by 20%. They already started doing layoffs. Already selling off excess mines, platinum mines that they bought to make them the second largest. So they're going bankrupt. They basically stated to their shareholders, "Yeah, we're going belly up, guys." And they keep going downhill, downhill, downhill. I've not heard one good piece of information from a business standpoint from that company. And like I said, last I checked, I haven't even looked. I'm so disappointed at them. But I think their stock price was like $4, and it's like 10% of it what it was a few years ago. So I mean,
it's right at it, close to its all-time low.
Yeah, and so it's like, then Clean Air Metals comes along. Hell, at 7 cents, if it was just to jump up to $4, that's like damn near a couple hundred times your increase in your investment.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just amazing. And that's why I'm putting this information out, because I don't understand why this company, Clean Air Metals, stock price is so damn low. With the discoveries they have, with the mineral resource that they've discovered, the amount they have of that discovery, the need there is for that mineral, and the dynamic shift of this BRICS thing in South Africa, being, again, their research, the mines there are like at 2,200 meters deep. It takes like 17,000 years to get a guy down that far into the earth. That's an exaggeration, obviously. But they got to pay for all this time of elevators going down 2,200 meters under the earth to pull the ore out. That's what's making it real expensive, and that's why they're going out of business, because someone's suppressing the price of it, because it costs more to mine the ore than they're getting for the ore. And that's why I believe that rhodium is at 3,500 to 4,500 an ounce. That jumped up overnight because that's the only asset they can dig up that's not being manipulated by China, and that's therefore the only way they can make money to stay in business. What are you guys doing? But this will all be exposed in time, and I'll be proven right, and people will be like, "Oh yeah, Neil was right."
I put the link to their website there.
Yeah, most definitely.
I
mean, everybody needs to look at this, and this is not financial advice at all. It's just sound advice. Look at all of what I just said. Look at the platinum mining companies in South Africa. Look at the acquisitions they made in Zambia and Tanzania. And look at how the mining is working, the depth of the mines, the condition of the mines, all this other stuff that you're supposed to do as far as due diligence, for which I've already done for you guys. That's why I tell you about it. And you'll come to the same conclusion that I came to. It's worth getting into, and I personally am going to be investing more than $70 in the clean air metals. Once I think next month I'm getting a good sum of money. I'll probably invest like $700. I want to get like 10,000 shares of that sucker, because when it jumps up to $4, whoa.
It's an easy thing to overlook is that its huge advantage is how close to the surface it is.
The expense, yeah.
The expense will be, I think, a fraction.
It should be 25% of what it costs the South African mines to bring up an ounce of platinum ore. And that's just going by numbers at 500 meters to 2,200 meters.
Maybe I should drop them a resume.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, yeah, they're going to be big, man. It's going to be a small hole in the ground, big mining operation underneath.
I think platinum's really, really undervalued right now.
Oh my God, is it ever? It's being suppressed by China.
In fact, close. I'd say silver and platinum seem about equally undervalued right now.
Yeah, I haven't done the math, and I don't care to, as far as the projected price of silver and all this other stuff of projected or whatnot. But I think probably in 3 years you'll be able to look back and say, you know what? If I'd had 5 ounces of platinum at $5,000, I would be better off than if I had 100 ounces of silver.
Yeah.
Or 150 ounces, however much $5,000 in silver is, which would be about 5 kilos, 4 kilos, something like that. Depends on who you buy from. 999 fine. It actually is. Unfortunately, everything I'm hearing about palladium is not positive. I've been looking for some lifelines for it, but and I'm sure there is. It's just that I haven't delved into it that deeply, because there's no apparent surface lifelines for palladium as far as use case to where it'll actually be something. Because right now the auto industry, this guy was saying on this commodities culture show that platinum, that's a fallacy. They jumped on the 10-year contracts between platinum and palladium. Right now they're on palladium. And if the car industry goes the way it's going right now, which it will, which is the Japanese theory of doing things, which is present 3 to 4 other options over combustion engine to give the consumer, and you can reduce the amount of people buying the combustion engine, which will reduce the amount of CO2 added to the atmosphere. And if you look at the math that way and the psychology that way, they should have been using that thought process. But for the past 20 years, they've said, no, electrics is going to be what it is. So electric is where we're investing. and they started subsidizing, Elon Musk and all these other electric car companies. But now they're going to get into different power plants. That's why China has to buy 2.5 million ounces of platinum this year for the hydrogen hybrid engines they have to produce for 10 different car companies, models of cars that are going to have hydrogen biodiesel engines for you guys to buy next year. They're also going to have electric hydrogen, not hydrogen. They're going to have dual purpose. They're going to have like 3 or 4 different power plants to offer you in vehicles other than the combustion engine. And one of them is a hydrogen biodiesel. One of them is an electric biodiesel. And then there's like there's another kind of hybrid electric engine out. They're going to have like 3 or 4 different power plants to offer in vehicles. And that's going to wane the consumer off of combustion engine that produces the greenhouse gases. And that's the main purpose of why they were pushing the electric cars. Even you're going to find out in the next 5 years, electric cars are very bad for the well, not only for the economy. Eventually, the economy experience to clean up the waste, but in the mining of it, like lithium, it's like crap, man. It sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. Hybrid's good though.
Hybrids, I love, man. Oh,
yeah, Chad. Palladium and platinum are both excellent catalysts. I think for palladium, the number one industrial use is catalytic converters.
Yeah, for palladium it is because it's a little different. But again, that's why I tell people you got to look at the precious metals. And when you talk to anybody about and tell them precious metals, they're going to think silver and gold is the precious metals. Well, no, that's 25% of them. The other 75% are the platinum group metals, and each one of them is a platinum group metal. So platinum, palladium, rhodium, osmium, iridium, all of those are in the platinum group metals, and they are 75% of the precious metals. What people don't understand is that when you say precious metals, they're selling our gold and silver because those are economically based precious metals. But then what you got to look at is, well, we now have a breakup of a BRICS. Well, Russia is in control, one of the main countries in control of BRICS. And in their history, not our history, but in their history, gold, silver, and platinum are monetary. So that's where a problem with people who are on YouTube talking about crap, they see things from the Americans' perspective. They're selling you crap that we think. But see, now things are different. What's up, C4? We have to deal with people that don't think the way our education system taught us to think. And that's called the BRICS nations. And Russia is the head of the BRICS nations. And in their thought process, and when they teach in school, they'll teach you that from 1825 to 1845, Russia had 4 coins of platinum that were circulated in their economy as money. So the whole mindset of half the world is that platinum is a monetary based metal. So the other half, the half we live in, and if you don't look past that half, says it's not. But, it's a bipolar world. So you got to look at both sides of the story. And if you don't consider platinum, basically you're a fool.
Well, to me, nickel and copper are monetary metals too.
Well, yeah, they've been using coinage, indeed. And no one recognizes that, but although copper is definitely going to take a jump. I know a nickel stack says that nickel will, and it will if it doesn't get suppressed again, like silver was, and like nickel already was, I think a year and a half ago.
Hey, Nickel and James Real.
Anytime anything takes off for the benefit of the retail people, it always seems to get squashed by the government and stopped and told, no, you can't make that money. You're poor and you're going to stay there. What's up, James? So we have that to deal with. And but definitely copper, they can't stop. They can't do that because, see, nickel's still being mined and quote unquote ethically based because it gets other minerals when they mine it. Silver's a byproduct, copper's a byproduct, cobalt's a byproduct, zinc's a byproduct when you dig for nickel. So you're making a lot of money on things that you didn't actually anticipate to make money off of when digging for nickel. Yeah. When your game plan is to dig for other things, you don't get as many resources as byproduct. Like when you dig for copper, you'll get a little bit of nickel, you'll get iron, zinc, magnesium, stuff like that, maybe some silver, but basically a majority of your ore will be a heavy copper based ore if you go mainly for copper. And if you look at copper mines, there's a lot of copper mines that are unethically and no longer sustainable at the price of copper to be mined, and also they're almost mined out anyhow. So we definitely gonna have to open up some, and then you also have to look at geopolitical, and you see that all the countries are looking to do things internally and be self-sustaining and more sovereign, less controlled by others. That's why the UN is going to go away, and this whole economic war is going to kill the UN. That's the basic premise of this war, is to get rid of the UN. Every other country out there in the world is looking to go for sovereignty, not unity. They want sovereignty, then unity. So it's like a quote unquote reset. And most of the countries that are doing that are going to their own mineral resources in the ground of their countries. I highlight those countries in West Africa that are doing that primarily with gold, because that's their main resource. And the last administration already said there's $62 billion worth of resources under our feet. So if every other country that's fixing to be successful is taking resources of their own country and maximizing the advantage for the country of that country's resources, if our countries run that way, there's going to be a lot of mining, and we're going to be very rich.
Well, Clean Air Metals is already up in Thunder Bay. Like, there's also diamond mines, gold mines, silver.
Yeah,
mines.
up in northern Canada. I haven't done that. That's the third largest. That's what screwed De Beers Diamonds up. They lost control of their monopoly when they found this third diamond super volcano. What is it? Super volcano vent from a massive explosion. That's where basically you find diamonds, the real big ones and your uniquer ones. And there's 3 locations in the world. De Beers owns 2 of them, and this other company owns the third one. That's why the monopoly ended for De Beers, and that's where crystallized osmium comes in, because power hates a vacuum, and crystallized osmium is going to fill that gap.
Did someone say osmium?
Huh?
Did someone say osmium?
Hold on. Oh, God, I love that. Thank you for doing that for me, John.
Hey, no problem. That's awesome.
I love it. It's perfect to draw. Did you say osmium? Boom, throw that in.
Yeah, it's good timing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful. I was thinking as that commercial was running, had that 25-year experienced jeweler actually made my nose rings properly, which he only sent me half of. I paid for 8, only got 4, and they're not even right. I could actually do a commercial of some jewelry in osmium, but since they're not done right, I can't do that because I got to redo them, find some way to have them done right. Oh, man. Who'd have thought you'd have so much problems trying to make a damn nose ring?
Yeah, that's why at some point it makes sense to do it yourself if you can. Like,
that's why you're staying until after the show, because what is it? Silverboy Blues should be showing up, and we're going to be talking with him about that exact thing that you and I already talked about. We're going to get him in, and we'll talk about it later, probably within an hour.
sounds very good.
Oh, dude, we're going to have it rocking. We're going to take maximum advantage of what little crap I have in stock and crank it out and just start, rinse and repeat, and don't take any profit. Just rinse and repeat and buy stock till we can get up to like having 400 or 500 pieces ready for sale. Then start taking profit.
Yep.
So that way we can have a nice residual income, have a group have a nice residual income, and start making money, making our own unique high dollar pieces off of the group's funding. It's going to be great, man. Once we get it going.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and a lot of the people are here in the chat, which is kind of cool. Oh, my crop is looking so good this year, dude. Very, very seldom do I do a good crop, and you can control it. But this year I did it this way. I got like probably 14 3-foot long buds. They're just getting thicker. It's gonna.
Nice.
I'm gonna have such an and it's from 2 different styles too. Somehow it's gonna be a good year.
This is the other this for people that don't want to have to read so fast.
Yeah, and it changes color. I love this one.
Osmium is a platinum group, precious metal. It is significantly more rare than diamonds or gold. While it is toxic in its natural state, it is completely harmless in this crystalline form. The crystal structures are unique on every piece, which is the key to a very impressive security feature. It is very strong, hard, and reflective, similar to, or greater than diamonds. The price performance of osmium has been strong and steady, making it a suitable store of value. We see it becoming popular with stackers, and those who like knockout bling on their jewelry.
I love the color
Due
shift.
to osmium's high value density, it is relatively easy to store and easy to move or transport. It will never tone or tarnish. Think generational wealth.
Yeah, Gerald, you were talking about that.
And the other
I
thing
know.
too is I think that it can be polished. Who was it? It was
It can be polished. I did. There's a little 9-minute show. A jeweler is talking about. He's got that ring, and he's talking about you can polish it, you can wax it, you can do everything with it. It doesn't hurt it. Once it's in its setting, you can like do everything to remake the setting nice by cleaning it, and you can do that to the crystallized osmium, and it will not affect it one bit.
Would it be fair to say that it's significantly more robust than, say, 20 grit sandpaper?
It depends on a Sparkle 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. Because the Sparkle grade is the increased size of the crystals that are reflective.
Yep.
So Sparkle 5 is a lot more coarse or like sandpaper than a Sparkle 1. I imagine a Sparkle 1 would probably be like a 200 to 300 grit, to where a Sparkle 5 would be like a 60 or 70 grit sandpaper.
But my question is, do you think the osmium is more robust? Meaning like it's going to hold together better?
Oh, yeah.
Stronger, more durable.
Yeah, no, it's
you don't have to worry about it getting damaged if you drop it.
Yeah, no, it's atomically combined to it's grown onto itself. It's not placed, so the bond is a lot stronger. It's a natural bond between the crystals. It's not a fabricated bond.
The biggest problem with it is if you're handling it outside of the packaging and you're over like an HVAC vent.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta be very careful not to lose it when you take it out of the packaging.
Or if you have kitty cats that like jumping on your lap.
Yep. That's another good reason to put it into jewelry, right? Because they make it much less likely to get
Andy.
It can still be seen. Hey, Andy, good to see you.
Yeah, starting hopefully if we can get this thing going by November, we'll have stud earrings, 4mm rounds, and squares up for sale. So that'd be kind of cool.
Beautiful.
And then we could do another commercial where we can have nose rings and earrings, just the basic ones. And then as we grow we do the more sophisticated jewelries, the more intricate, one-off pieces. We're going to be doing lots of commercials. Lots of commercials. As we grow, we just do commercials matching our growth for what the company's into.
I'm not going to.
Fine.
How's it
What's
going, Neil?
up?
Hey, 999.
Hey,
Oh,
how's it
hold
going?
on. I gotta put a shirt on because if you're gonna show your face, I gotta show my face.
Man, you
I don't have a shirt on right now, so
Hey, I get it, man.
Tiger.
Tanzanite gemstone. I got a couple ideas. I'm not going to give it all away, but incorporating osmium into this sort of thing.
Let me turn this light up.
Yeah. Been watching your channel for quite a few months there, Neil. Kind of stumbled across you. I hope it doesn't hurt to drop names how I found you and stuff, but through the Economic Ninja, I seen you in there as one of the moderators.
That's my boy.
Talking about crystallized osmium. I'm like, okay, I've never heard of this. So I started going down the rabbit hole and found your channel and stuff. And I've been just kind of being the creeper out there on the verge, just watching you, checking in on your shows, and love the content you put out, man, especially with everything that's happening there in Africa. I appreciate it. It's really great.
I try and keep people informed of what others aren't keeping you informed of. That's all, and telling it like it is,
Yeah, it's absolutely hard to get, real on the edge, real news, what's really happening out there, because a lot of it's that echo chamber, bullshit.
You also know.
Put down whatever your political views are. I'm just to the age now where I just don't give a shit anymore, and just look at things that benefit my life and can push us to the next level. I've been a stacker since 2016 is when I was working, just like seeing the economy come back, and I'm like, none of this makes sense. So I went down the road of silver. I thought silver was going to completely change my life. I thought I was completely ahead of everybody else on it. So I loaded up on a bunch of it and stuff, looking at what the price is now compared to what I bought. Hey, I can't complain, did good. But, but definitely watching, getting myself educated more about how economics works and stuff. And definitely how, the green technology is going to be here no matter how we fight it or not. It's going to be on its way. And I definitely like your information you've been putting out about platinum, the uses and the utility that's really going to be there. I think it's important news.
I appreciate it. I've actually talked Rick Rule and Andy Scheckman into loving platinum. They at first when through Liberty Finance is how I spoke with both of them when they came on live, because Dunnigan, I know him, never met him, but I kind of know him, and so he asked a couple questions that I asked, and they're always about platinum. And the first time those two guys were asked about platinum, we're like, it's not real much, and then they just kept going on. And like 2-3 months later, like, you guys might want to look at platinum. I'm like, start talking about platinum, because people aren't talking about it, and it is the sleeper of metals as far as price goes, because of the manipulation factor. If you look from, like, everyone likes talking about the 1933 Double Eagle worth $20, right? Well, in 1933, platinum was worth $40, twice what gold is. So historically, on a long-term chart, 100-year chart, platinum has no less than been 100% more than gold, all the way up until 2013, when South Africa joined BRICS and signed on to China's One Belt Road Initiative. So I did research on China's One Belt Road Initiative, and I found out what actually happens to countries that sign on with them. They basically go bankrupt. And I also did a show of Italy. They were on the One Belt Road Initiative for 1 year, and their prime minister said, we're getting out of this because you guys are going to bankrupt us. And so that was my confirmation that any country that signs on with China takes over their economies, rapes them, and profits for China, not that country. Then you look at South Africa, from the time they joined BRICS and the One Belt Road Initiative, they've been going downhill. Until this year, they had to, for the first time in 30 years, their lead political party had to make concessions to other parties to stay in power. That's how bad it is. And because of the concessions they made. Part of those concessions are actually going to change the price of platinum. And then you get Clean Air Metals coming in there, a Canadian company that is going to start drilling for platinum and producing platinum ore within 6 to 9 months in Canada. And their veins are bigger than the African veins. So South Africa's done. They're the only thing South Africa has going for it is they're the murder capital of the world. They have about 27,000 murders a year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Their biggest industry right now, they employ 3.5 million security guards. That's their biggest industry in South Africa.
Wow.
Because everyone's getting robbed. It's such a power is off for 50% of the day. The other half of the time, you better have a security guard or someone's going to steal something from you.
William mentioned something good in the chat too. It says, "Hi guys, what about Costco selling platinum?" I think that's big news because
it's going to drive the price of platinum as well, man. Costco's selling platinum now. That's just raising awareness to everybody of what I've been saying for the past 2.5 to 3 years about platinum.
Yeah, what's got me into platinum, I've always been one of those people to buy the unloved metal. I mean, gosh, not even, you got to think back 7-10 years ago, silver was really hated on. And that's why I actually started picking it up, because it was hated on. And then that's what got me over to platinum. Definitely seeing the price drop on it significantly over quite a few years, and just the lack of love that's there. So that's where I always try to find my opportunities, are the ones that doesn't have the most love. And I mean, I'm glad, don't get me wrong, I'm glad silver's getting some love that it's deserved. It's deserved it. I mean, sitting at $32 an ounce, it should be way higher. But to me, it doesn't matter what I personally believe. The market is what the market does. It's never wrong. It just is what it is. And I'm just seeing the lack of love over in platinum. So that's where I'm looking right now is platinum. I'm good on silver. I'd love to have more gold, but it's just got too much popularity to it right now. And I love anything that's not popular and it's not loved. And that's where I go.
Smart value buying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do bar. I do bars. I don't do coins because you pay an extra for the artwork of the coin, and the Western values doesn't monetize platinum. The Eastern values monetize platinum. And if we're gonna have economic war between the two, your best bet would be to lay on the Western side if you live in the West, and that would be doing bars because they're gonna be using it in industry, which means the coins will be melted down anyhow, which means you're gonna pay extra for the coin over the bar.
If you could get a coin for the same price, or even just a tad more than the bar,
then you're getting a good deal. Yeah, and they're out there. I just don't know where to find them all the time.
Yeah.
But back to 999. In November, I'm working with Ian from Arc Silver, and we're gonna have another metal. It's not a precious metal by any means, but it's even more rare than platinum, and it's got more use case, and it's real cheap right now. It's about $100 an ounce, so we're trying to procure some, and I'll be getting probably like 10 ounces of it, and it's I guess it's even more rare than platinum, and it's like $100 an ounce right now. It's like, yeah.
What's the use case for it, Neil? If you don't mind.
I'm gonna start doing some shows. I'm gonna be kind of a jerk and wait till I get some for myself, and then I'm gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spill the beans and then say, "Damn, I can't get any," because it is more rare than platinum. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't got enough money to buy, thousands of it, but I am gonna have 5 or 10 ounces. Then I'll start talking about it. But I need to make sure I got my little my little rabbit holes worth of shit, and then I'll release it to the world. Because if everybody just buys 5 ounces of this stuff, it'll be sold out quick in a day. And I want some, and that's probably.
I'll be sitting on the sidelines watching you, waiting for you to break that news.
Oh, I will be. And actually, speaking of Ninja, Ninja is going to be probably by January or February. He's probably going to be doing a live stream on one of my my side gigs. As soon as I get it down, he told me once I get everything set, he'd fly down and do a live show on it.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, as far as publicity to get attention to it and shit. How better can you? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's some guys out there got 2-3 million subscribers, but I'm not their mod, so they can't help me any. Ninja can, you know.
Yeah.
No,
I remember when I signed up on his channel, that guy was only at like 1,000 subscribers. That was it. I mean, I've touched him for quite a few years, and then, man, just it seemed like overnight it just blew up. So I'm waiting for the same thing happen to you, because you're putting out some amazing content, my friend. Really amazing content.
God, I wish the hell people would watch it, man. I've got like 2,300 viewing hours after 3 years. I'm doing this for fun. I'm hoping. No, right now I think I'm on like Ninja. I think I'm being shadow banned. I think I have been shadow banned because I am doing good, honest, truthful content. That doesn't seem to be the trend right now, and
Right.
Ninja's pointed that out. So it's a badge of honor that I haven't got a lot of views and a lot of people watching, because I believe I'm hoping for the people about platinum, just because I used to saying, before I got into crystallized osmium, for 2 years, all I said was buy silver and platinum, buy silver and platinum. And that was it. I would say nothing else in chats, because I know the psychology of repeating things. Same thing that's happened to us politically with all these ads. I was using that same psychology. And then I got introduced into crystallized osmium. And I'm just trying to introduce people to the real value, where you can make real money and not do it at other people's expense. Now, Ninja's got his thing, other people got their thing, and I'm just trying to bring what I see, and it's a different thing, but it's the same principles and values as Ninja, and that's why he and I get along so great. You ought to check into Adam Taggart, Thoughtful Money. He's a good dude too. He's a friend of Ninja's and mine as well.
Gotcha.
He lives up in
I don't know
Chicago.
if you watch that guy Simon. He's out of Astoria, Oregon over here, and he goes by his channel, The Uneducated Economist. I don't know if you
Yes, he's in his car.
Yeah, I've watched
Yeah.
that. Remember when same thing. He didn't have a whole lot, and then all of a sudden, boom! And lately, he did a video talking about pursuing excellence over pleasure. And I definitely think you're on the right path, because you're definitely pursuing excellence.
Yeah, I just that's why I brought up the newest thing I've seen happening, and it actually happened through a campaign slogan of one of the two campaigns, and it clicked when they said this one slogan, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is the National German Labor Party of 1933 slogan before Nazi Germany came about, and they're using it." So I went in and I read The Letters of Stupidity by Heydrich Bonhoeffer, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And it's playing out exact same as 1930s Germany. So I started bringing that up. I'm surprised I'm still on YouTube. I'm surprised. I've had live streams I've done 5 minutes after I do them. About 9 months ago, I did one on the same as Ninja, and 5 minutes after the live stream, the whole live stream was deleted. I got an email from Google or YouTube, whoever it was, saying that the WHO actually complained, so they just deleted the whole live stream. So I have one Sunday live stream that's blank because the World Health Organization didn't like what I said, and I was like running on 2 strikes for like 2 years. I had to really watch what I was saying, and it was like, so I know I'm being shadow banned right now, big time. So when Ninja talks about it, it is real. It is shadow real, because I've been wondering with all the information I've been putting out. I'm like,
yeah, I've seen it on other channels over the years that I've watched and stuff. Like I said, when I love the technological age that we're in and stuff, because I really wouldn't have been caught up into precious metals without it. And I watched it over the years, a lot of silver stacking channels 3 years ago. They were just there one day and then gone. One channel that I watch and follow, he was off YouTube for over a year, and then just
they say the wrong thing.
Yeah,
and you got to see, that's where I do geopolitical, because when you do geopolitical, you actually see, I don't want to say trends, but I see pathways on what the leaders are pushing and not pushing, and not things to and not to talk about. So in the beginning of bizarre administrations, don't want to push that line too much. Towards the end of them, once they get to known as the lame duck, then you can start talking more, because they're like, after Eli took over X, it got a lot easier. I didn't get as many strikes. It was, it seemed to slow down a little bit, but there's still a lot of censorship going on. But I think maybe by maybe February or March, I should start blowing up, like you said, because people won't mind, or the truth won't be as censored, or not pushed. Like
Yeah,
not being pushed.
yeah, they'll just have to accept whoever the outcome is. of
That
the
don't tip a regular economy, the way it's supposed to work. People like
Right.
stuff, they get it. They don't like it, they don't get it. You don't like suppress them because they like something you don't like, and you're not making money off of it, so you manipulate. And no, fuck all that crap, man. Sorry for my language, but yeah, and that's what's going on. And I'm pushing through. I'm working on my 3rd year now, so this is all for fun right now. That's why I did my kitty cat things, because like after my mom died, I was like, man, because she was the one pushing me to continue doing the shows, because she's big into the truth. And that's why I'm big into holistic medicine over going to the doctor. I learned pressure points. I learned all kinds of stuff, what foods to eat to make you healthy, keep you healthy. That's what got me into beekeeping, because I found out the health of bees and how you can, even though if you put honey in your tea because it's over 103 degrees, it doesn't matter. If you don't use sugar and you use honey, it's still beneficial. So use honey even in your hot drinks, because you lose the medical benefits at 103 degrees or 101 degrees, but it's still a replacement for sugar, which is a health benefit. If you're not using sugar, you're using local honey, and you still get the allergenics benefit from it. So, there's lots of benefits to that. So I'm benefiting from my truth, and the 40 or 50 people that watch are hopefully benefiting from the truth, and hopefully one day YouTube will allow other people to get a hold of information too. Because Ninja's put me on his community page, some of my shows, and it didn't help. I'm like, okay, yeah, we got some shadow banning going on, Neil. Because I was for sure I'd get at least 100 views, but I didn't even get 100 views when he put my show on his community page. I was like, all right, let's not push that anymore. Let's just wait, because it's not the right time in the political wheel spinning. So I know just to chill, wait, build up a good video profile. I've got like over 1,010 videos. So once the administration changes and truth is allowed to be told.
Well, here's the other thing, though, Neil, is I do think that you're not a professional YouTube channel creator in that you don't know how to opt in. Like, your channel's not optimized in a lot of ways. We discussed a little bit about it. And so, maybe it's just as well, right? Maybe the timing's right, but you can go back and do all the hashtags and there's a ton of things you can do to optimize your channel and really, really help it.
That's after I get my lightning crystal box thing built. I'm going to have access. I've got a lifetime long friend down there who's real good at making money on YouTube, even during bad times. He focuses on sins, the sins that make money. So he follows that profile. And in doing that, a lot of his channels got shut down, obviously, because sex related stuff or whatever, pornographic or whatever. But his mindset is one of the business, and he knows how to get hits. He knows keywords. He knows because he can start a channel, and in 3 days he has like 30,000 subscribers. But within 2 months, he's shut down. I mean, he knows all the tricks. He knows all that stuff. But it also hits the algorithms where they look at him and they go, holy shit, and then they shut him down. But he'll make like thousands of dollars in those 2 to 3 months. So I'm going to hook up with him and have him, give me some advice, not the bad stuff that gets him shut down, but some of the other tricks he uses or things that you can do to get more, not advertisement, but more out there, to be viewed.
PR person to help keep him reeled in a little bit, so he can keep that maximized viewership.
Yeah, like JM said, I'm so unprofessional. I'm actually an iron worker doing a YouTube show. I'm just unemployed. That's why I've got too many shows going. when I'm working, I don't have that many shows. You know,
Went
but
to another.
oh, you cut out on that
That's
last
awesome,
part,
man.
brother.
Well, I'll get out of Oh, I said from one tradesman to another. I'm a plumber by trade, so I definitely understand the hard work, the aching back, and all the
Oh
bumps and
God,
things.
the back. Oh, yeah. That's. Yeah, I accepted I was going to have back issues 20 years ago. I was like, Neil, you keep this shit up, dude. You better get yoga going. You better get some shit going where you can keep your, and that's literally, dude, yoga type stuff. If you're in the trades,
Stretching.
stretching.
It's so important, man. What was it in February of 2020? I went in for an emergency surgery. They found a brain tumor in the fourth ventricle. So I went from working the trades, busting 50, 60 hour weeks, and then plus throwing in 3 to 4 times a week in the gym, lifting heavy weights to, I was starting to get older. So I'm like, oh, I need to do more. And went from that to not being able to lift anymore. And yoga, I mean, I'm still slow at it because when you're used to something going hard all the time,
Dude,
it's hard to
isometrics.
But yeah, I tell you what, calisthenics has really helped me out.
Yes.
Yoga by far. You're right, man. Preach yoga all the way, brother.
Dude, it helps my back big time. And like I said, 30 year, I've never gone to the gym because being an iron worker, I lift heavy shit. So I used, like when I was spreading deck, I'd even go as far as when you spread deck is like 30 foot long, 3 foot wide, corrugated shit. If you're on the left side and you pick it up and you drag, you're going one way. I'd spread one bundle out or 10 250-pound sheets, pick them up, drag them with the left. Then I'd switch and do it to the right. So that way, as I'm doing this way, I'm getting the core the other side and then the core this side. And that's why I still have, little muscles here and there because I looked at my job as a gym and I got a dual use out of it. I looked at it as I got paid for a workout and I was never big.
And you're also preventing that muscle imbalance because a lot of people, I mean, especially bodybuilders, they look amazing, but they have a lot of effed up muscle imbalance.
That's holistic medicine taught me that one, man. Balance. So my whole trip and my mom helped me in that journey of learning the holistic medicine. So I really do. I don't talk about it, but she's really a big loss that I took last October when I lost my mom. But she was the one that walked me through the holistic medicine because she was Scottish from the northern highlands of Scotland. Her mom, my grandmother, was real big into the Celtic healing, natural medicine type stuff. And that they didn't get passed down to my brother. That got passed down to me. Because like my brother went in the army for 22 years, came Green Beret, was like a yes man, went into like politics down south or whatever, and did that kind of thing. So he wasn't interested in natural healing and natural health and yoga, stretching, that wasn't his like genre. And so I took that part of the family and continued with it. And, holistic medicine, stretching, you don't need a doctor. The only thing if you're bleeding or if your thing's like, not right, then go to a doctor. But other than that, like for example, you learn like tea. I like drinking tea. I never really drank that much tea, but with honey and you add cinnamon. If you take fresh ground cinnamon and you put it in your tea and you drink 3 glasses of tea a day with fresh ground cinnamon in it, you just got yourself off of your high blood pressure and high cholesterol medications because it reduces an abundant amount of fresh cinnamon in your system, lowers your cholesterol and high blood pressure. So now you no longer need pills that are fucking you up by keeping your shit level. You're doing it yourself through your foods. And that's what diabetes, it can be solved through food, eating the right food. It's natural holistic medicines are a big part of cures, which are illegal for monetary reasons in this country. I know a guy down the road, his dog had cancer. My dog had cancer. He was able to save his dog because he took his dog to Mexico, where they're allowed to do medical procedures to cure your animals and yourself that here in America are illegal. I didn't have the money to go down to Mexico with my dog and have that same procedure. So I had to put my dog down because the American regulations and the way we are taught that things are, that they're only that way for the economy. It's not the way it is, and you can get
Right.
around that, you know, by taking care of yourself. What you put in your mouth is how you live, basically. And another saying I say is, how you treat yourself in your 20s is how you're going to live in your 30s. How you treat yourself in the 30s is how you're going to live in your 40s. So treat yourself well, stay stretched out, eat well, you know, do everything you need so that in the next 10 years, you'll be able to do everything you need, and just keep up taking. And that's why I'm going to be 57. I can still throw a front kick at 6'6", man, because I'm stretched out. You know, a little 20-year-old couldn't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the way I took care of myself in my 40s. I'm living better in my 50s, and the way I'm taking care of myself in the 50s, I'll live better in my 60s. And people just don't think like that, and that's a shame. And I like bringing that information too, because it's a mindset, and you can handle no less than 30% of the ailments that bother you yourself, and heal yourself. And that saves you money, lowers your insurance premiums.
You definitely are what
you are. What you do.
I had to change my diet up not quite 2 years ago. I was type 2 diabetic, and as soon as I changed my diet and found out what my body was reacting to, in 28 days, I went off metformin and went to my doctors, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "A diet that I know you're not going to approve of." And he's like, "What is it?" He's like, "What is it? The keto diet?" I'm like, "No, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's something like that." And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh gosh, you're going to hate when I say this." He's like, "No, what are you doing?" I'm like, I went carnivore. I've been carnivore now for 30 days. He's like, "Oh, that's so dangerous and so bad for you." And I'm like, I've been coming in here with high blood pressure and all these ailments, and nobody ever said a word when I was cramming down cheeseburgers down my fat pie hole. But now all of a sudden, when I go to a proper human diet that our species has been eaten for millions of years, all of a sudden it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous for his economy.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's not lying. It's dangerous for his paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's dangerous for. It's not dangerous for you. It's good for you. It's dangerous for the doctor.
Yeah, and I ain't saying I've been perfect on it. I mean, definitely came to the realization that I have a very unhealthy relationship to food. So it is a constant struggle. But I can actually say a year and a half ago I was 287 pounds, and today I'm on the scale at 245. I mean, I've been less. I've been down to 223.
Right on.
I still look like, okay, sometimes failure is part of the learning process. We beat ourselves up.
It is the learning process.
It's a good learning process, and I'm on the right path because I have not gone back on a lot of these meds that I was on. And yeah, I will agree 100%, man. Get into yoga, do some stretching, do some good calisthenics, and be aware of what you put in your pie hole.
Yeah, cook your own food so you know what's going in your mouth. I do a similar thing with the carnivore. I'm actually on that right now. I just bought 12 pounds of beef, and I sliced it up just in its format. And, I package it so I can stick it in the freezer or whatnot and do one a day. Guaranteed I'm getting a certain amount of beef a day for a month. But I also do fasting, because if you can, and it's hard for people because your stomach is the second brain, and it'll screw you. It'll tell you you're starving when you're not, because that feeling you get. And if you can overcome that in your brain, fasting for 3 days helps your immune system reset. So that way it can reattack everything from a new perspective that's wrong in your body. Most of the things wrong in the human body are inflammation related, or because it's inflamed, it's not working right. So you need better oxygen flow in your blood. And there's things you can do for that as well that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to get another strike. But if you research it yourself, you can find out there's things you can do yourself that can take care of a lot of inflammation that happens in your body that causes these problems. And you can do it yourself. Every one of us here is more than intelligent enough to handle 50% of any of your own personal health things, because they're probably caused by what you're eating or your environment.
100%. 100%.
We just got to be made aware of that, so that way we can live longer and healthier and happier lives.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to a 3-day fast yet, but I can do 48s. pretty regularly.
And
But,
if you had your
when I
own
get to that
chickens,
point,
those
it's
eggs
almost
would
like
be
that
healthier.
screaming. Oh,
Yeah. I don't know where you live, but because right now I do know that they are feeding chickens in major for production. They are gearing what they feed them to where they will have the minimal amount of thickness on the shell and all this other stuff, so they can save money while making the eggs and these big manufacturings. So if you get a local chickens from, even if you a neighbor or something, those eggs will be a lot healthier for you because of the food that they give the chickens. Because these major industries like Hormel, dude, they are, oh my God, dude, the crap. Like we were just talking about, what we feed us. Well, the same thing, what they feed the chickens is either beneficial or detrimental to you when you eat the byproduct of what the chicken's eating, which would be the eggs and the chicken itself. So you really got to spend time looking at things that go in your mouth so you can determine how healthy you want to live.
yeah,
Basically.
absolutely. Yeah. I believe you're down in California.
Northern California right now,
Northern
yeah.
California. Yeah, so I'm just a little north of you. I'm up here in Oregon and stuff, and yeah, like I can't remember the last time I bought a store-bought egg. I buy from, I'm pretty rural, so I live out here in the country and stuff, and yeah, I buy farm fresh eggs with the chicken shit and all on it and stuff.
And that's a good thing. Wash the chicken shit off. The egg is healthier.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we actually take the shells and stuff, and we'll freeze.
And it's better for the soil.
Yeah, we freeze them and stuff until we have a bunch of them, and then we crush them up and put them in a baking pan and bake them off in the oven.
Oh, sweet.
And we take NutriBullet and blend it up into a powder, because inside that thin milk, inside the egg, you got that collagen and stuff. So I'll take a piece of that, add that to my coffee. But the biggest thing and stuff I noticed when we went carnivore is that I also put my animals on a carnivore diet. So we'll take that and spoon that into their feed and stuff to make sure my animals are getting proper nutrition as well. So yeah, I'll do a raw egg with some of that ground up eggshell powder, a can of sardines with their all natural raw dog food, and I got happy healthy puppies around me.
Dude, I'm glad you found my channel. We sound very like-minded. That's right. I fed my dogs raw meat, man, because I determined a long time ago, when I feed them raw food, I don't have to take them to the vet as much.
We rescued this lab, oh gosh, probably 7 years ago, because the lab that I had from a puppy, she died of a sudden heart attack. And so we rescued this dog, and she just had so many allergies to everything. And her nose would be just so dry, and it would even crack and split and have blood in it, and a dry and crusty. And she was miserable. We took her to the vet. They gave us injections because she was allergic to grass, tree bark. I mean, just all kinds of ridiculous stuff that a dog should not be allergic to. And once when we switched her over to a proper doggy diet and really controlled what we put into our dogs, she hasn't been on injection. She hasn't been on any medication. I mean, she's a 13-year-old lab bouncing around just as happy as ever.
Yeah, that's why I actually had to put my Ridgeback down. She was like 13 and a half. But the average life expectancy of Ridgeback is 10 to 12 years. I mean, I was still upset I had to put my baby down, but she lived a year and a half longer than the highest average life expectancy. So yeah, it hurt me greatly to put her down, but shit, she lived longer than any other Ridgeback, so she had a good life. It always sucks when you have to put them down, but
it's heartbreaking. It's hard, man.
Oh my God, I rescued her too. She was like 3 when I got her. She was in a bad relationship with a dude who was dealing drugs that wanted a dog that was a badass dog, and heard about the bite factor of the Ridgebacks and got himself an Omega and beat it, trying to make it mean. She ran away, and I was able to get her, put her in my backyard, and I told the dude where she was. I said, but you're going to have to go through me before you get her, and I know you beat her, so I'm going to have to beat you, but I'll give her to you, but I'm going to beat your ass first. Come get her. And he never came and got her. So, what's up, man? I'm big on doing unto others what they, if you want to piss me off, beat an animal.
Yeah.
And I might actually come get in your face. That's one thing I can't stand, because they're defenseless, and we were here not to make them mean, but to care for them. They're domesticated. We created their the species in a domesticated form for a purpose, not to beat it. And that's a cowardly move, man. And I just, oh, dude, nothing.
That's not the true signs of being a man either. I mean, being a man, we have an obligation to be the protector. You know, like doing that to animal and something that's less than us. To me, that doesn't
cowardly move.
Makes you a little punk ass bitch. Excuse my language,
cowardly.
But
yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100% agree. It's a cowardly move to take out anger on an innocent animal, and it's from a psychological point of view that you're telling people, hey, I'm a coward, so I'm gonna beat a dog because it ain't gonna beat me up. You know, yeah, you're a fucking coward, man. Leave the dogs alone. Leave the animals alone. Come deal with a 145-pound weakling like myself. It never works out well for them. No offense to the big guys, but I actually, part of my back problems that I'm sleeping about 8-9 years ago, a 240-pound, 6'2", 6'3" Kentucky iron worker wanted to kind of push his way into my territory, tapped me from behind, broke 2 of my ribs, and punctured my lung on the first hit because he came at me from behind. And those, I whooped his ass, but that's not the story. It's hurting me right now, that area of the back, because it's, you know, I had to go back to work sooner than I should have because I needed money, and it never really fucking healed right. So it's fucking with me to this day. And it's going to get worse as I get older.
And that's what a lot of people think, oh, this guy is, you know, so tall, so much weight. I mean, I have a buddy here in Oregon who used to have an MMA gym, and I loved wrestling and loved, you know, loved sparring. I mean, I've been in martial arts since I was 19. And he's like, come on down. I'm like, man, I haven't been in martial arts for years. He's like, no, man, freaking, we'll just do an open session. Come on down. So I went on down there and got to train with some upcoming amateurs, and then a couple of his pros, that guys that just turned over, got their card. I have to work out with and stuff. One of the guys, Nate, he was just a 135-pound, 5'8" guy. Nothing impressive when you look at him. But man, I tell you what, when it comes to fighting, comes to defense, there are levels to it. And that guy destroyed my legs with leg kicks and humbled me. And back at that time, I was, you know, leaner than what I am now. I was about 230, 235 back then. But man, I tell you what, that size didn't matter, man. That guy had the skills and stuff. And yeah, size don't mean crap, bro. It don't mean anything.
And the smaller guys frequently have the speed and the agility on the bigger guys too.
Oh yeah. The guy on the left has got.
But they need the skill, right? Without the skill, they're still in trouble.
The guy there on the right of that picture with the red banner and the red feather, about 25. Well, no, more like 30 years ago, he was the Triple X heavyweight champion, jiu-jitsu champion of Canada, 325 pounds. That's how big that guy is. His name's Shane. He's a good friend of mine. That's actually me between the two. And he and I used to play around. I'm 145. He was 325, a Triple X Canadian jiu-jitsu champion. I'm sure there wasn't too many boys going against him at that weight class, but they might have just given it to him when he walked in because he was like a
ragdolling people.
Yeah, you think Viking when you see that guy, it's like, holy shit, 6'4", 325 pounds. Oh my God, where's his axe?
All right, guys, I'll get out of here and let you guys get back. It was good stopping and chatting with you, Neil.
Hey, anyone's welcome up here. That's why I put the chat up there, brother. Anyone is welcome to come up as long as you don't put up crazy stuff. I don't want like a sex bot jumping up here or something, you know. But if you're a good person, I'll let you up here. You can talk. You want to talk. Don't get me a strike. But yeah, anyone's welcome up here, man. I appreciate that you came up, man. I thank you. If you get to talk to Ninja, thank him for telling me about my channel. As I'm sure that's how you got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I seen you there as one of the moderators in the channel and stuff, and I was like, "What's this crystallized osmium thing? I got to check this out." And then I just seen your handle. I'm like, I'm just gonna look and see if he's got his own YouTube channel. And then I looked it up and I seen it. And I've been watching you, gosh, for months. Like
right on.
A long time.
Well, hopefully one day I'll get big.
Oh man, I think you will, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And JM, it was great talking with you too. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, brother. You have a good one too. Bye-bye.
You too. Take care.
That was nice.
Seemed like a really good guy.
Yeah. It seems like, yeah, no, it's actually a good positive change for my channel. Neil Sagan pizza channel. You know me, I talk about a lot of things. I do have a lot of information inside this little skull of mine, and it bounces off itself, so it's good to let it out every now and then. It clears space for me to put new crap in there.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm still waiting for Silverboy Blues because he was supposed to have showed up this evening.
How much longer do you think you want to stay live?
Probably. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna try and talk Indy into getting up here, but I don't know. She seems
be
like
nice.
she's got shaky knees. There's no cameras, no paparazzi, Indy. You don't have to worry about any face reveal pics being put out if you come up. Indeed, James. Take care of yourself, brother.
I was going to say, if like you started this show out with that comprehensive yet concise overview of Platinum.
Yeah.
And that same channel has a very awesome overview of Osmium too. I was thinking, if you didn't have plans and you were looking for something to do, that would probably be a good way to close it out.
Yeah, and I probably will close it out that way.
Is that your thought?
That it sounds good to me. I'm sure you have it on hand to put up, but I'm not ready to close it out just quite yet. I actually have more people than usual right now on the live. And there's like 11 or 12 people here. Usually there's only 4 or 5. So I'm at like double my norm. And that's the good thing about being small. It's real easy to double your norm.
That's true.
Hey, I had 3. I now have 6. That's why I'm running for president. My last one, I got 6 votes. This time, if I get 12, I'll be elated with 12 votes, man. You know how easy it is to get 12 votes? There's like, I don't know, with the new popular. You know what? I might even pay some illegal aliens to vote for me. I hear that's legal now. I might get a strike for saying that. I ought to quit. I could get a couple hundred votes for a couple $100. Pull a Kennedy. His dad did that at the Union Hall. No one knows about. His dad paid union members $10 a vote. Said, vote for my son. Handed them $10 as they went in the polling station. He was our first mafia president. People don't like recognizing that. Part of the reason why I believe he left this place early was because of his connections, and the introduction of his connections into the political arena caused enough problems that someone had to pay for the problems that was caused, and he was used as a scapegoat. But that's just my personal opinion. But supposedly, from what they're talking about, with his nephew coming out and talking, supposedly we're going to find out the truth in the next couple of years.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, you know, and if you look at the last administration, the Italian government picked up the heads of 16 families, mafia families throughout the world, and you look at the New York Colombo family that never got arrested. They all got picked up too back in like 2017, 18, something like that. And we've all seen the movies. When you pick up the heads, they start squawking and people start getting arrested, so they make deals. I'm sure that happened.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they were facing the downfall of that, they probably went after them to find out where the money was going for the corruption and stuff. And the best way to do that is to arrest all 16 of the family heads of the 16 families of the mafia. Well, we did that. You know, not too many people know about it, but there's some serious political ramifications coming right now because of that. But, you know, whatever. People don't want to recognize the amount of corruption. We all talk about it. Shit, yeah, it happened during the Kennedy administration. That's when the mafia moved up from the Al Capone era to the I run a country. Screw a family. I've got a country now. It's called America. And that's, you know, we became that, and that was back in the 60s. So just imagine how fucking corrupt we are now. Actually, I seen it happen with the I'll probably get a strike for this. Oh, what the heck. I seen it happen here in California with the Hells Angels. Hells Angels turned over their street operations of the whores and the drugs and shit over to the Mongols. Happened during my 30th birthday. I was at it was April 24th. I don't know what year. It was 26 years ago. I was in Laughlin, Nevada, partying like a son of a gun. I actually drank that weekend because it was my 30th birthday. And the Hells Angels were it was a time where the Hells Angels had a shootout with the Mongols at the casino. It made national news. I was there.
Okay.
I was at that hotel. And the whole thing behind that was they were turning over their street operations to the Mongols because they were moving into politics here in California. And even the FBI will tell you, their statistics will say 1/3 of the cops, the judges, and the politicians have direct ties or are active members of the Hells Angels. So they turned over, they pulled the move that the mafia did from being the Al Capone to being the Kennedy. The Hells Angels did here in California 26 years ago, and they turned over the street operations to the Mongols. The Mongols started accepting recruits from the N13, M14, and they used them to run the street operations throughout California. And that's when we started having a big migrant problem, and everything really changed. I mean, I'm sure the federal government was keeping their eye on it because I was keeping my eye on it, and I'm just a dumbass who didn't even graduate high school, and I saw it going on. And I do know that there was 2 federal investigations I was involved in here in my town that had to do with the Hells Angels. So, yeah, they've been that's the evolution of business, and whether you like it or not, mafia is business. The sex crimes is business. Everything is a business, and it evolves, and it steps further up the ladder. And it gets more corrupt, and every now and then you need that cleansing. Hopefully we're going to have that cleansing. And it's going to hurt because we're so endowed with corruption. But whatever, we'll see.
It seems like it's many different forms of corruption too.
Oh my God, it's everywhere. There's not it's everything you touch has slime. Slime and corruption.
To me, they say follow the money. And every time, like if you do a flow chart on it, the money where you have to go back to where it's created, it's the central banks.
Yeah,
which are global. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
so,
and that's where I see a pathway for the American debt to go bye-bye, and we not have to pay for it. Because in reality, everyone even actually knows what I'm saying to be fixing to be true. We all know that they caused the problem.
That's right.
And they make you vote for their solution. Yep. And if that has actually been done, that's what's called election interference and RICO Act, this and that, manipulation. And it's all, and if it all comes back to the central banks, then they're held liable. The debt's to them. Well, we just get rid of them. We get rid of the debt, and that's their punishment.
And they have to return the gold too.
Yeah, well, of course. And that's why I think they're all gathering the gold, because they know the punishment's coming. Because believe it or not, China owes a lot of gold out for the World War III that we've been going through currently, and no one wants to talk about either. And because anytime, let me put it this way: if I went to China and I opened up a bioweapons lab they didn't know about, I guarantee you, I would be shot, not just sent home like what they did here in California when the Chinese opened a bioweapons lab without us knowing about it. So there is an actual war going on as we speak, and has been going on for several years, a real freaking war, a new style of war, an economic war. And that's where Trump is coming in talking the crap he's talking, because he's bringing in the big guns to the economic war, and he's going to set people straight. And that's the end of a financial system, if you understand the economies of financial systems. And it's going to bring in a new financial system under his regime. And if you look at who he wanted to replace Powell before he got replaced with Biden, the lady he wanted as the head of the reserve was pro-gold and working away from the central banks. So if he continues the trend that he was wanting to start, but he was unable to start because people started turncoating on him too quick, I'd say we're going to be sitting kind of pretty in a few years. Just prepare for it financially. Yeah, no, bad shit is going to happen. It's got to happen. It's like when you clean the laundry area of your house that hasn't been cleaned in 20 years. It's nasty. It's not going to be fun, but it's got to be done. And after you're done, it's going to be nice and clean. Well, we're doing the nasty job of cleaning right now. Another thing they don't report is there's been like 3 or 5 million voters dropped from voter registration just in the swing states alone in the past year. So much so that the Supreme Court is looking at possibly doing something in the swing states to guarantee that only legal voters who can legally vote due to the Constitution under each of those states' laws can vote. That's how bad it is, but it hasn't made the news. But yeah, 5 million voters get kicked off. That's 2.5% of the voting population in America. Fraudulent, and they've already taken care of them. So there's a lot of things going on. I think there's over 3,000, I guess you call them election officials and or political people, or people involved with who are in politics that are involved in the election system in politics in their local governments have already been arrested and thrown in jail for election fraud for the last election. No, the 2022 elections. That hasn't made the news either, but it's happened.
No, it hasn't made the news. But you've got to think there's got to be something going on behind the scenes to just
that's why
completely give up hope is crazy.
That's why I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off, because I'm not worried.
Yeah, you do seem pretty calm.
Yeah, that's because I know what's going to happen. I'm 95% positive of what's going to happen.
I thought maybe
where I see it. I know a lot of pain's going to come. I'm positioning myself to where not only will I not feel a lot of that pain, but I'm actually going to make a lot of money off of the transition of what's going to happen. Another reason why I do my show. Hopefully a lot of people listen. Yeah.
Well, and that's a similar spirit that the Economic Ninja has too, right? It's not about him. It's about helping as many people as you can.
Hey, I am going to make more money if I help more people make more money. If you look at things like that, you're going to have a good life. Because right now what people look at is, I need to make more money off of other people. That's fucked up.
It's so true too, because if you're helping other people make money, even if you get taken down, they'll still recognize you too.
Well,
right?
It's not only that, it's beyond the physicality of the time. What's up, Tuning Guns? It's beyond the physicality of our time here in this corporeal form. And as soon as you have that understanding, you realize that the 70 to 100 years we have in this existence is a litmus test for eternity. So you want to do good on the litmus test.
So it's like the dress rehearsal for getting into heaven?
Kind of, sort of. It's the test.
I can look at it that way.
That's why I say the Bible is an individual thing. You can read the Bible and I can read the Bible side by side, being told for work 8 hours just reading it, and then write a report on everything we read. And we'll have two different stories, two different perceptions of it, because it's personal.
Yeah.
It's personal, and you will be held accountable to your personal understanding of what is going on, not to what is actually going on. You're not held accountable for other people's bullshit. If we're living a lie, we're not accountable for that lie. We're only accountable. And that's why I say I do what I can where I'm at while I'm there.
Yep.
I can't make change if I'm not there. So I do what I can where I'm at while I'm there. And I try to keep it positive.
Yeah. And with helping other people and encouraging them to do the same, you get that compounding effect.
Be kind, helpful, and grateful. But carry a big stick. What's up, Silver Boy Blues?
There he is.
It's kind of the same old statement, What's that one? Walk softly, carry a big stick. It's just the same thing, don't be naive, but be kind, helpful, and grateful. Understand there's evil out there. Obviously, there's a yin and yang. You can't have good without evil, but you can have control of you as far as the good and evil. And which one you feed, which one you spread, which one you admire, which one you follow. Follow the good. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. You'll find over time, it's actually the best route for everybody. And it brings peace. And, I can walk away and leave my door unlocked here in the worst town in America. Not for murders or anything, but we went bankrupt. We have cops that are actually murderers with guns still. I'm in a 5-7 year long forgotten investigation because I dug up a decapitated, partially decomposed corpse in this guy's backyard, and then we discovered 2 more in the alley directly across the street from me, and no one's been arrested. I actually had to evict the guys who buried the bodies, and they're still 3 blocks down the road. Nothing happened to them. So I'm very aware of the evil. I understand about cartels. I understand about their control over, but it doesn't affect me. I'm going to be positive because this is a litmus test. If you can't get over all the negativity and bring positivity, you're kind of worthless. You're adding to the bullshit, and you're not needed. So be kind, be helpful, be grateful, but also don't be weak, and don't be stupid, and don't be naive. Just be kind, helpful, and grateful without hurting yourself. Help others. It could be as easy as opening a door and smiling and saying good morning. The smallest of things can change other people's days. All you got to do is hit 6%. It's easy. You can change everything. I mean, like I said, I'm in this horrible ass neighborhood, and everyone recognizes who I am. The bad people don't come here, and the good. I'm out in the street cleaning. I got mailmen and ice cream people and random other people will just stop by. God bless you for what you're doing to that neighborhood, because I clean it up. I physically clean it up and literally clean it up. And when you walk down the street, there's no leaves in the gutter. The sidewalks are clean. I'll pressure wash them if need be. And this area looks like civilized human beings live here. And all I do is take care of my place like a place I want to live in. And I want to live in a place that looks like civilized human beings live here. So I make sure that my place that I live looks like that. The 3 houses down each side of me and across the street. So when I go out and look, it looks like civilized people live here. And people are actually thanking me for doing that. So it could be that small. I've had the mailman tell me, hey, how do you make this? How do you keep these weeds from coming back? And he goes, I've been trying to do this in my block because I've seen what you've been doing and I like it. So I gave him a little tip on how he could keep his stuff looking as good as, my little 1 block. You just do what you can where you are while you're there. And it actually can make it. It affects others and it spreads kindness, helpfulness, and gratefulness. And next thing you know, we have a tsunami of kindness, helpfulness, and gratefulness spreading across the world instead of a tsunami of evil, greed, and hate. Wouldn't that be cool? Shit. That's all I'm trying to bring.
I just wanted to say, Silver Boy Blues, that actually sounds like it wasn't too bad of a stroke then. I think Neil missed your comment. Silver Boy
I did.
Had a relative that had a stroke and he had to do some extra driving, and that's why he's late.
Oh, no, by no means. I told you not to worry about that, Silverwood Blues. We got our phone numbers.
Hopefully there's a really good recovery from that. It sounds like it will.
Family first, man. We're making money not so we can be greedy, but so we can take care of our families better. So obviously family first.
Yep.
Except for in Indy's case, I do it just to make fun of Indy for
and setting up the next generation too. I think that's one of the most important things that we can do in life. You know how what is the meaning of life? I think a big part of it is trying to set up the next generation for success.
That's it. And people don't know how to do that with their kids. They all keep protecting them for life, and they don't realize because it's a harder decision. It's real easy to want to protect your child. It's real hard to watch them fail and prepare them. Because when you're dead, who's going to protect them? Well, you're dead. You can't protect them. So I hope like hell you prepared them. And how you prepare children for life is allowing them to fall, realizing that's pretty much your whole life. You're going to fail because people are out there going to make you fail. But the more chances you have at success, you have by picking yourself up and driving on. And that's preparing a kid for life. And while the parents are alive, you can prepare them for life because you can allow them to fail, knowing that you have the ability to pick them up and help them back on. And they get that life lesson. How many of you had your parents teach you like that?
Yeah, that's a good point, Silver Boy Blues. This next generation could be the the first generation that's worse off than a previous.
Shit, there was a time in my life in Italy, I got thrown out of a little raft. I thought I was going to drown. I had to swim. I was like in second grade. I wasn't really into swimming. I had to swim, and I learned how to real fucking fast. And there's always people around, and no one helped until I got into an area where it was convenient for them to help. So I realized a long time ago, you got to save yourself, man.
Yeah, I think everyone should have to learn how to swim. I don't know if you knew this or not, but a lot of Asians, especially Chinese, don't know how to swim, and they're scared of water.
That's why I love that they have the largest navy.
I'm very, very generally speaking, but like if you look at the ratios, many of them do not know how to swim.
That's a shame, man. Swimming's a fun thing. I was called a fish as a kid. We lived on a peninsula inside a bayou with only a bridge and one road leading in and out, and water surrounding us like 3/4 of the neighborhood. So there's lots of little different beaches and fun little areas where kids can go have a good time. And I was always in the water.
I think it's really good for you. It's good for your skin too, right? That's natural hydration for your skin.
When we were in Italy, I was always in the only place I lived where I wasn't always in the water was Scotland. And that's because we lived at the far north of Scotland, and the water temperature was about 50 degrees. And I don't like the cold. Other than that, I've always been in the water. If I don't live near water, I'll always take a soak bath to be in the water.
That's interesting, Auntie. Jack, is the math right on that? It is. That's freaking math. Like,
well, it's outrageous. and again, if you vote for Neil Hahn for president, like I said, I know how to cut, and I can bring us back into a positive economy in my 4-year term, because I see what we've accepted, the wasteful spending and the improper spending and the overabundance of employees that are unnecessary just so that we could grow a fake economy to where we can control people. Cuts that could be made that would actually make America great and make the American people successful in every small town rather than poor in every small town. But you got to make me president because I want that $425,000 a year job.
Well, the other thing is it takes time.
Oh no, I can cut about 1 million or 2 jobs in one day. I'll have to worry about assassinations. So.
Well, I have a feeling though, like, okay, so let's say that you actually did win. I think that you would become privy to a whole lot more information and a whole lot more protocol and like all sorts of things that could
change the feelings,
change your view of the world.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that, as much as we can dig deep and we can go down the rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
There's still stuff that I think would be mind blowing if even the most awake of us found out.
Oh no, there's guaranteed there's some crazy shit out there that would do that. But
and I think a lot of it would hinder turning things around.
It couldn't.
You know, I think President Trump found that out.
No, what he found out is he found out he had a lot of turncoats that said they were loyal to him.
That's right.
That didn't stop him from doing what he wanted to do. It prevented.
He still kicked. He kicked
much. Sure. He just had to change direction and clean house first before he did what he said he was going to do. And actually, over the past 4 years, if you actually see what hasn't been on the news about what has happened, you'll find out a lot of houses have been cleaned, and it hasn't been under his administration, which is kind of cool. And now that you got the Democrats actively turned on each other, wow.
Nickel can't swim. Nickel, you got take some swimming lessons.
Yeah, floating only makes you shark bait, buddy.
Everyone should know how to swim, in my opinion. My only concern with Trump is I can see him aging. But I fully agree. He did more than you could expect of anybody in his first term.
Exposing the amount of rhino control working with.
And the amount of loopholes and stumbling blocks they threw in front of him.
Yeah.
It's a plethora. Unimaginable. And I'm sure there's a lot more that we never found out about too.
Ramifications are going to be beautiful, and why people will actually, I feel, be going to jail. Because if you were put under such scrutiny for 4 years and put in power to be able to put these people in jail, would you?
I think most people would completely fold and be crushed under the pressure.
And turn other people in, and you'd be able to clean house.
Yeah. No, I agree. He's a true leader. You know, he can be a little bit crass and he's a little rough around the edges in some ways, and no one's perfect.
Well, he's not a politician, so he was never taught how to speak properly in front of crowds to appease everybody. And he was a businessman that was successful. And to do that, you tell people, hey, check this out. You're fired.
Well, his whole life history is building things and building things of I don't want to say greatness, but why not? Building things that are great. He was never, like, I tend to go towards mediocrity from time to time, you know, just to get an edge. But he's the type of guy, he would never settle for mediocrity. Everything's got to be good, right? It's got to be top notch. And I also think that he's a true patriot. I really think that he's more patriotic than anyone else that's running. Let's put it that way. But enough about politics.
Yeah.
That's my Canadian perspective on it.
I'll be dealing with you after I don't win the 2024 elections, because I'll be running for PM in 2026.
Yep. Just get rid of Trudeau.
Yeah, I'll try and kick him out.
He's rotten to the core.
Well, he hasn't been groomed. That's why he speaks like that. He wrote the book to groom people. Basically, he's mastered art of the deal, and I think has actually a book about it. And he does real well, and he's the kind of guy you want on your side, not against you.
Well, and he's willing to take big risks, but he's also willing to stand for certain principles too.
And that's hard to come by in politicians.
Yeah, a lot of people knock him because he filed for bankruptcy, however many times.
And that's the way it works.
The key is he's not one of these homeless people in a homeless camp that gave up. Right? He always come back.
Yep.
Always come back.
That's why you should prepare your children for life and not protect them from it. Because the more you fall down while you have safety nets, the less you'll need them without the safety nets. Because you know how to get yourself back up. How do you learn to get yourself back up if you've never fallen?
Another very honorable thing is he frequently mentions, no smoking, no alcohol, no drugs. I've heard him say that many times. And like, I'm not a hypocrite or anything. I do all of those things in a light or moderated amount. But the principle of what he's saying there is fantastic, right? He's telling people, look, you don't need those crutches. You don't need all of that to be a big performer and to succeed in it. So credit to him for that.
I'm excited the 999 Fines came on, and
yeah.
I thought that was cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hope I do get some subscribers and become big. That'd be cool. And it'll probably happen during the next administration. Like I said, I'm being shadow banned like a Boy Scout right now. And it's all part of the cycle of politics and geopolitics, and when you can safely say and do things, and when it'll be a lot harder a road to say and do the exact same things. Timing always comes into play.
There you go. Yeah. 59 Finns got it. I think Trump genuinely cares about freedom in our country. Kamala is a scam. Totally a puppet for the globalist deep state. Boom.
Yeah, we ain't got to worry about her. Her and Biden are fighting right now, so that's killing her.
Biden just threw her under the bus.
Yeah, I know. Like I said.
I don't think he even realized he was doing it.
Well,
The Organization of Debt.
You
could look at it that way. Yep.
She's the one who told him, "Hey, you're not going to run again. I'm going to take your spot, even though we got you through the primary, and you're the dude that the Americans picked. I'm going to take your spot." In other words, what they've been doing to others, he finally is being done to him, and he doesn't like it. And that's what they have to offer us, that style of leadership. And I don't like it. But whatever.
And debt can be dissolved too.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm proposing. And I think Neil agrees completely that should be happening with all of start with the Federal Reserve, but all of the central banks of all the countries all around the world.
Or at least all the countries that their central banks
dissolve the debt.
So
dissolve the debt, give back the gold to the people. Have a nice day. Right? Then life can be good. And you can actually live in freedom, in my opinion.
It would take about 50
financial freedom
all away.
And then Freedom 55 could actually be a very, very realistic, goal for people. In fact, even Freedom 45 probably.
Enough with all these numbers and stuff. We just all need to get out there and make the change we want to see. And more that everybody gets out there and does that, the more change we'll see. It's a foregone conclusion.
I almost feel a kumbaya moment coming on.
No, what you're going to hear is I need to get Silver Boys Blues up here because I'm going to end the stream. It's getting close to 2 hours. And I haven't been able to talk Independent Minnie come up here so I can harass her. So she's denied me that opportunity. Dag nabbit girl.
Well, you missed a previous conversation about that in this very live stream. And I think that what was proposed was she needs to have security. And possibly, now I'm making this up, but I'm just going to add it, possibly a delay in the stream by 10 to 15 seconds to ensure that if Neil accidentally says Mary instead of many, that can be
edited out. Yeah. Well, I could find out her real name and use that instead. I'm kidding.
Me too, sort of.
Oh, that's hilarious. No.
Anyone that wants to come up and talk about Osmium backstage should be doing so now.
Babysitter. So we're going to need a moderator in the chat if you come up here. JM would be a good moderator. He's a fair guy.
Yeah, I don't want to get caught in the middle though.
Yeah, most people wouldn't.
Right. I'd be the one that ends up,
it's all good. No, you continue with what you were saying. Yeah, if anyone wants to come to backstage, I'm going to be ending this live stream soon. Silver, definitely need to talk to you back there.
Oh, do you want me to play this video here?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. This is awesome, guys. Don't go away.
A 16-minute long video, right?
I'll put the link in, so if you don't have time, you can watch the rest later. But like, it builds on itself and it gets better and better and better. It really is fantastic. Okay. And if you want me to pause it at all and discuss anything, just let me know.
What if I told you the most luxurious metal in the world is not gold, or even platinum, but an ultra-rare precious metal that has only recently started to be used in high-end jewelry and as one of the most unique ways to store wealth on the planet? Osmium is not only the rarest of all precious metals, clocking in at an astonishing 1,500 times rarer than gold, but also the rarest non-radioactive element and the densest naturally occurring element found on Earth. Osmium also enjoys the status of being one of the most beautiful materials to behold, with a unique luster that rivals the finest grade diamonds, and a crystalline structure with an ultra-high reflectivity that dazzles the eye. One of the most intriguing aspects of osmium's rise to prominence is that it has only been available to the retail public since 2014, as the process to crystallize osmium was discovered in 2013 by Swiss scientists after 40 years of research, and remains a closely guarded secret to this day. Osmium's authenticity is also impossible to counterfeit, as it sports a naturally built-in security feature that proves ownership of each unique piece. If all of this weren't enough, osmium's rarity is also accelerating, making it an incredible investment vehicle that will become increasingly scarce in the years ahead. Curious to learn more? Join us on a journey from a humble laboratory in England to the height of decadence, as we shine a light on the world's most luxurious metal. It's osmium on Commodity Culture. Osmium is a chemical element with a melting point of 3,033 degrees Celsius, a boiling point of 5,008 degrees Celsius, a relative atomic mass of 190.23, and the atomic number 76. It is a steel blue transition metal belonging to the platinum group metals, sharing that distinction with platinum, palladium, ruthenium, rhodium, and iridium. Osmium is mined alongside platinum. To give you an idea just how rare osmium is, for every 10,000 tons of platinum ore mined, approximately 30 grams of osmium can be extracted. In addition to its rarity and incredible density, osmium also has the highest abrasion resistance and pressure resistance of any element on the periodic table. Although osmium previously found some limited use in light bulbs, fountain pen tips, instrument pivots, and electrical contacts in its early days, its exceptional rarity made it expensive and difficult to procure, and so it fell out of favor as an industrial commodity rather quickly. This same rarity is now osmium's main strength, as its value is becoming realized in the tangible asset and jewelry markets. To allow for it to be viable in non-industrial applications, a group of Swiss scientists spent 4 decades perfecting a method of crystallization that renders raw osmium into a beautiful material surpassing the finest stones available. Crystallized osmium's sparkle makes its only natural rival, diamonds, pale in comparison. With the ability to perfectly reflect parallel sunlight, osmium shines more brilliantly than the highest grade diamonds. In addition, osmium doesn't refract light, ensuring that the light it emits retains its full intensity. This remarkable property, combined with osmium's ability to be cut with precision, allows for the creation of stunningly flawless jewelry designs, from sharp, pointed shapes to smooth, soft contours. More and more jewelers are starting to work with osmium and add it to their luxury pieces because of its dazzling visual characteristics, scarcity, and consumer demand from people who value owning a one-of-a-kind piece of art with intrinsic value that also makes it a unique store of wealth. For those looking to purchase pure crystallized osmium as a tangible asset that could rise in value over time, osmium is crafted into squares, bars, and discs for investment purposes, all with the same incredible sparkle that make it ideal for jewelry. Every single piece of crystallized osmium is registered in the World Osmium Database, which is connected to a corresponding QR code in the hands of the customer to stop counterfeiting and prove ownership. This adds a built-in layer of security and authenticity that makes osmium like no other precious metal available on the market today. Adding to all of this, the world's supply of crude osmium is being exhausted right now, as you're listening to me speak. The Americans call this impending event the Osmium Big Bang. This realization could lead the market to revalue osmium at a much higher price. Osmium will then hold the unique distinction of being the first precious metal to run out completely, due to the fact that only a certain amount will be crystallized from here on out. With so much value packed into such a small amount of material, osmium is also extremely efficient to transport and store, making it ideal for those seeking discretion in their tangible asset investments. One of the things that makes the osmium market stand apart from other metals is the 3 distinct stages expected to evolve for osmium as extremely scarce supply collides with ever-growing demand. The first stage of the market is the raw osmium phase. This involves osmium being mined and processed from a handful of locations around the world. The Osmium World Council estimated years ago that there are only around 22 tons or 1 cubic meter of osmium currently below ground in raw form. Nowadays, it is nearly impossible to buy ethically sourced raw osmium. On top of this lack of supply, ESG-compliant deposits in stable jurisdictions and mined in a way that minimizes environmental damage are even more rare. Osmium is found in South Africa, North and South America, Japan, Borneo, Australia, and in the Urals in Russia. Given the current geopolitical environment, Russian supply is largely considered off-limits by the industry at large. At the moment, we have reached the end game when it comes to the raw osmium phase. Mineable reserves are almost depleted, and availability of raw material for processing and eventual crystallization is becoming harder to come by. The event that starts the second stage of the market is the Osmium Big Bang. With only 300 kilograms of ethically sourced raw osmium currently above ground, the decision has been made to not crystallize anymore. Because the crystallization process was discovered over the course of 4 decades by a small group of scientists who are sworn to secrecy, the chances of another group entering the game are very low indeed. When we also consider that customers are demanding ethically sourced material of the highest quality, and all of this is trackable via the Osmium database, the layers of complexity in replicating the current osmium market and finding new customers is extraordinarily high. The final stage of the market relates strongly to osmium's growing use in jewelry and is known as the osmium thin-out. As the available crystalline osmium is formed into rings, necklaces, and more for the jewelry market, and discs, stars, and bars for the investment market, the osmium economy will be allowed to flow naturally, and as products are sold, there will no longer be any additional pieces to replace existing stocks and meet rising demand. As the years and decades advance, osmium will become more and more scarce and difficult to obtain, similar to a specific wine vintage that can never be replicated beyond its initial release. What will this do to the prices? We can only speculate, but as major luxury brands look to add osmium to their product lines, and more buyers around the world start to wake up to osmium's built-in rarity and intrinsic value, prices are expected to move considerably higher as the years go by. Adding to this innate scarcity, osmium is not recycled and cannot be melted down and reformed as with other precious metals without losing its crystalline surface, which is the fingerprint through which investment-grade osmium is able to be identified. Once osmium, be it jewelry or an investment piece, is produced and registered in the Osmium database, it will remain that way eternally. Osmium was first discovered by an English chemist and physician named Smithson Tennant. Smithson collaborated with another English chemist and physician, William Hyde Wollaston, and the duo were instrumental in discovering many of the platinum group metals. The year was 1803, and while dissolving platinum in aqua regia, both men made separate and remarkable discoveries while examining the black powder residue left behind from this process. While Wollaston discovered palladium and rhodium, Tennant isolated two other elements which he dubbed iridium and osmium. Both published their findings in the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society in 1804. Sadly, Smithson's career was cut short when he was crushed by his horse after a bridge collapsed underneath him in France, fracturing his skull and leading to his demise in 1815. In the early days of incandescent light bulbs, osmium was one of the first materials chosen for the filament due to its remarkably high melting point, which allowed it to endure the intense heat needed to generate light without melting. Osmium's durability also allowed the light bulbs in which it was used to have a long life, making it an ideal material for the short time in history it was employed for this purpose. Osmium was eventually replaced with tungsten, which was discovered to have a higher melting point and produced a stronger and more efficient light, along with being far more abundant and cost-effective. Osmium's use languished following this time, as industrial applications were very limited. However, once the crystallization process was discovered and refined in 2013 in Switzerland, the game completely changed. Starting in 2014, osmium made its debut as a standout material for watch manufacturing, a trend that has accelerated in recent years. The first wristwatch to use osmium was the classic Fusion Tourbillon Firmament, made by Hublot in 2014. Osmium was used on the dial of the watch, adding an element of luxury like nothing else available on the market at the time, and the price certainly reflects this. If you'd like to get your hands on this watch today, expect to shell out well over $100,000 for the privilege. Around this same time, the first pieces of show-stopping osmium jewelry began to be produced, followed by investment pieces for the tangible asset market. The Osmium Institute was established in Germany in 2017, and this part of osmium's history is absolutely vital to the story. The Institute was created to oversee the uniform handling in trade and processing of crystalline osmium internationally, both as a jewelry metal and a tangible asset. After osmium is crystallized in Switzerland, it is transported to the German Osmium Institute, where it is vigorously tested to establish quality and authenticity. Before a single piece of osmium can go into circulation in the hands of the public, these tests must be conducted, resulting in an osmium identification code for each product. Without this code, which is unique to each piece, the osmium cannot be transacted and is not considered to be authentic. This places a level of transparency on markets and acts as a form of anti-counterfeiting technology, along with curbing illicit secondary market activity. The Osmium Institute also negotiates import regulations around the world for crystalline osmium, informs both the public and companies about the use of osmium, and drives the expansion of affiliated osmium institutes globally. Since 2017, additional osmium institutes have been established in 30 countries around the world, including Brazil, the United States, China, South Korea, France, and many more. This strong network has helped the popularity of crystalline osmium to accelerate, driving demand across continents. As crystalline osmium first began to be used in the luxury jewelry and tangible asset market, its production was not yet streamlined, and so the quality of the final product had many variations. The price at this point was mainly calculated based on the percentage of crystalline osmium that was confirmed as fully produced on a daily time frame. Prices today are established in a more sophisticated manner, but before we explain, it is important to discuss an event known as the osmium fork and how it has impacted markets. When speaking of forks in an asset, most people think of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. In this case, a fork is a protocol change that establishes a new set of...
That's worth pausing for. We're about 3/4 of the way through the video here. Thanks everyone for stopping by and watching it out. I don't think they call it OI, but the Australian Institute, I could see that. Okay, we'll keep
of rules for the blockchain network. This can cause changes in the price for a variety of reasons, including increased or decreased scarcity, production costs, transaction speeds, and more. In the case of Osmium, the fork occurred in June of 2023 as a result of optimizing the production process for crystallized osmium, thus reducing its production costs as well. The osmium fork caused the price of the metal to drop by nearly 35%, making it more affordable for jewelers and investors to purchase. People who already held osmium when the fork occurred actually got shipped additional material to compensate for the price drop, made possible by the osmium identification code we discussed earlier. One side effect of the fork was to further reduce supply by sending this additional osmium to existing owners, and the price has been rising steadily since that time, with expectations that it will eventually meet and exceed prices before the fork occurred. Today, the price of crystalline osmium is determined in a different way than it was in early markets. Prices are discussed and determined by a group of osmium experts in the Osmium World Council. The council handles a number of vital tasks to the crystalline osmium market, including training financial market participants about osmium, developing and refining processing guidelines for crystalline osmium, disseminating information on osmium to governments around the world, and much more. As part of their mandate, the Osmium World Council conducts market research, calculates the remaining supply of crystalline osmium in the hands of the retail public, and reserves yet to be sold, and determines the price. Council President Marcos Saito announced the new developments in pricing in 2024, and since then, it has been determined that a price rise of 120% will be carried out in phases until 2027, putting an additional premium on an already rare commodity. Osmium's introduction into the marketplace as a tangible asset for investment purposes and as a material used in jewelry is still in its early stages. And yet, supplies of this ultra-rare precious metal are becoming more and more scarce. This unique confluence of factors makes right now a unique moment in time for the metal, between its creation and the end of its production journey. With osmium crystallization being phased out and demand ramping up from luxury goods manufacturers, jewelers, and the retail public, the very definition of exclusive is taking hold in the osmium market. Add to this, growing interest in the Saudi Arabian, UAE, South Korean, and Chinese markets is beginning to rise exponentially, with many other markets expected to try and join the party before the DJ plays the swan song and the curtains close on crystallized osmium production. After the last crystalline osmium piece is sold into the market, prices are expected to react accordingly. And those who already took hold of osmium will be unlikely to sell such a rare piece of precious metals history without being compensated accordingly. Osmium's imminent thin-out makes it an incredible store of value, and is also likely to attract gold and silver stackers and others who want to store a portion of their wealth in a tangible asset completely free of counterparty risk. With osmium, the worldwide database acts as an extra layer of security above and beyond traditional physical gold or silver bullion, making it an appealing alternative to those seeking certainty in protecting and growing their wealth. How high the price of osmium could go is anyone's guess. The newest and rarest precious metal is likely set to surprise the market and establish itself around the globe as the new ideal of luxury, value, and prestige.
Nicely done.
I think that was really, really well done. In hindsight, I maybe to save a bit of time, I should have played it at 1.25 or something like that. But
Nah, no big deal.
okay, I got to take a quick break, but I'll be here when you guys go backstage. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Right on. That's thank you very much, Annie. That's fixing to happen. We're gonna go backstage right now. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you everyone for showing up. I hope you guys got some information that you might glean as interesting, or whatever. I hope you had a good time, if nothing else. And we'll see you next Sunday if I don't throw up a random live stream throughout the week. And until then, you guys have a great week. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Buy yourself some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium. And I shall see you next week. Have a great one, peeps.